Now that the parliament has cleared the potential chairman of the IEBC and potential 6 vice chairs, the purpose of this recording was to speculate on who is going to be the vice chair. I think let us talk about who is going to be the vice chair, and then we talk other covering things about it. To me, I see there are only 2 people who will enter. I'm not using who may enter. I'm only saying 2 people who will. One of them will end up this as the vice chairperson of the IEBC. I'm putting my cards on Mrs. Anderito, the current registrar of political parties. She stands a good chance to be the vice chair of the IEBC. The other person I'm putting my cards on is Mrs. Mary Karen Serobit. But if you were to give me a free hand to choose, I would choose Mary Karen Serobit as the vice chair. Of course, Anne Derito has worked for the IEBC or IEBC related work for a very long time. On cards, she stands a better chance. But on competency, if you ask me on competency, I would place Mary Karen Serobit. For the following reason: the chair is a lawyer, and the chair is assumed to be, has a qualification of a superior court or a high court judge. So my reasoning has been and has always been that the vice chair has at least a diploma in law. Should have at least even if the vice is let's say statistician or anything. Some of these you will see that the commissioners who are taken, they are in this commission and any other commission, they try to spread into various professions. I think one of the commissioners is even an IT specialist. So you find that we have lawyers, we have an ICT specialist, we have several, so that when they sit down, they come up with a solution across board, other than having just one profession. Although during the confirmation hearing, actually, what was in the parliament was a confirmation hearing. Now, during the confirmation hearing, people are saying vetting by the parliament. No, the true position is that it was a confirmation hearing of the candidate, so that when they hear, they either confirm you or deny you. During the confirmation hearing, there was a friendly fire. Some lawyer was trying to complain that how comes out of the 7, majority are lawyers. And then I can't recall which candidate was being was on the chair, but I remember the answer was even on this panel, the lawyers are majority. And then the information came that this is JLAC, Justice and Legal Affairs Committee. So when it comes to legal affairs, obviously it will, or if there is PSC, it will have more accountants. So it is good that lawyers in this incoming IEBC are more, that is good. But I've always believed that somebody, you can even have an IT specialist being the vice chair, but having a postgraduate diploma in law, so that because should the chairman be indisposed of because of sickness or anything, then if the chairman is disposed of because of sickness or anything, and whoever becomes the acting chairman or even death should be of a legal training of that particular thing. Some people may ask me, but don't you think Alutalala Mukhwana can make a better vice chair than the two ladies? Yes, he can make a vice chair better than the two, but then there is the unwritten law that nowadays when the chair is appointed, when the chair is assumed office, chair as of any such bodies, then it is always good for the person of the other gender to be the vice chair. Although this thing had a cock-up, during the Judicial Service Commission. Judicial Service Commission, my belief is that Justice Koome just applied for the sake of, she was thinking that, okay, let me correct myself, please. Apologies on my part. Justice Koome thought that the Deputy Chief Justice Mwilu, Deputy Chief Justice Mwilu would apply to be the Chief Justice. So if the Deputy Chief Justice applies to be the Chief Justice, Koome applied to be a Chief Justice so that she squares it off with Mwilu. But Mwilu reasoned, maybe, I don't know, but I think Mwilu reasoned that she's already the Deputy Chief Justice. If she resigns as Deputy Chief Justice and contests as the Chief Justice and fails, she goes home. That is the most likely reason why she did not apply to be. So when they closed the nomination, already if Justice Koome would have known that Mwili was not going to apply, she would have reasoned that the Vice President of the judiciary is a lady, so that the chairship should go to a man. But since the chair did not go to the man, it accidentally fell for the two. So we don't rule out the possibility that Alutalala Mukhwana, being a lawyer and a very good person in communication, can also be made the vice. But even if he's not made the vice, I would recommend that the commission uses him, especially on matters of passing information to people. You know, there are those people, we have those people where they can sell ice cream to an Eskimo. If you have a very good communication abilities, then convincing people would be very easy. I know people say IEBC will always steal. Now, if IEBC is going to steal and use Altalala Mukhwana to talk over, explain it, Kenyans will easily. Anyway, that is, I'm talking with a lighter note. I'm not serious on that, but I'm just saying that. So if Altalala, most likely, unless it is an accidental interview, like an accidental incident like the Judicial Service Commission, I see one of these two ladies ending up. And as I've said, I would not request, but I would recommend that the vice chair be made a lady. Now, of these two, or any other vice, whether it's a lady or a gentleman, whoever will be appointed, this is how the vice chair have been since 1992 during the Chesoni time. The president never appoints the vice chair. The president always appoints the chair, but leaves the other commissioners to appoint the vice chair. So I think when they lock themselves and we wait for the white smoke, I think they'll just, the first topic on the first item on their discussion would be, please let us elect a lady. So all men who would even think of being the vice would disqualify themselves. Even if they are proposed, they'll disqualify themselves so that it remains to be that one of the ladies. Now, due to her exposure, due to her being known, and due to the fact that she's a registrar of political parties, Anne Derito is most likely to be elected. She's going to be elected instead of Mary Karen Soroboit. But you see, there is also another problem that if Mary Karen is elected, Kenyans will always look for. They'll not look at the good points. They'll always look at the one bad point. Coincidentally, she comes from Uasin Gishu, so people will say, Ruto's person has been there. But if we comes to qualification and whatever, especially things that are judicial in nature or quasi-judicial, I'd have preferred her to be there. Now, lastly, as I finish today's recording, I want to talk about how vice chairs have been since the beginning. At first, the chair was Chesoni when it was called ECK, Electoral Commission of Kenya. And then the commissioners themselves sat down to choose a vice. They chose Mwadhani Mbaka. If I'm not very wrong, somebody correct me in the comment section. His first name was Japheth Mwadhani Mbaka. Now, Mwadhani Mbaka was a retired chief magistrate. Was it resident? But he was a retired judge as a magistrate. Mwadhani Mbaka was a retired magistrate when he joined the ECK. So he was he was elected by other commissioners to be the vice chair. Nowadays, someone is made a commissioner for one term of 6 years, non-refundable, not refundable, anyway, you know what I mean, non-renewable. I'm getting old, non-renewable. Now, during those days, it used to be you are elected, you are appointed, then your renewal is once. But when things happened, especially after 2007, they said that if a commissioner is made an electoral commissioner and he or she is told that you are liable for one renewal, it would mean that all those commissioners who are serving their first term, they'll be polite to the appointing authority so that they are reappointed. So that is what will happen, and I'll tell you, it really happened. But when Mwadhani Mbaka's time came for renewal, it was never renewed, and nobody explained why President Moi did not renew his appointment. Other commissioners were elected, were appointed by Moi. When they were appointed by Moi, they sat down and held an election, and then they chose Kivyutu. They elected Kivyutu as vice chair. When Kivyutu was elected as a vice chair by the commissioners themselves, Chesoni was appointed a chief justice. When he was appointed chief justice, the president, because that is where Tanzania is now, then the president appointed Kivyutu from vice chair to be a full chair. Then when Kivyutu was made a full chair, the commissioners were now to elect a vice chair. They elected Gabriel Mukere. Who was a lawyer. So you can see up to that time, all the vice chair and the chair were lawyers. But as things have been going, find that especially when they say that the vice is is not, I mean, it has to come from the other gender, then it opens. You can see Anne Derito through she's more known than Mary Karen. She's more known than Mary Karen, so she stands a higher chance of being elected as the next vice chair. But as I've said repeatedly, I think Mary Karen is more qualified, and that is how they are going to do it. I recorded this thing in advance so that Kenya is funny. You'll find somebody have been elected and people start. I knew. It is good to record before the whole thing has happened, and then when it happens, then I can turn to you and say I knew. Now, what is the mustakabal? What is the mustakabal? Yeah, what is going to happen now? We can say we have a constitutional crisis to some extent. To some extent, I underline that one because the law states that within 7 days of the confirmation, within the 7 days of the confirmation of through the legislature, then the president has no otherwise than to appoint those people into the position that they'll be sworn in. But somebody has rushed to the judiciary to halt it, and the judiciary said that the judiciary cannot supervise the legislature. So the legislator was allowed to go ahead. What will happen is that just because there is a case before court, it will happen that within 7 days of the determination of the court, they will be sworn in. These people who have taken the case to court, they are doing it at the behest of people like Kalonzo Musyoka. You see, a person like Kalonzo Musyoka, he wanted from the word go for the opposition and the ruling party to sit down and share the commissioner's position. So they agreed on that. I mean, they wanted that, and that is why they have been using all the system of delaying and whatever. But even if they delay, I don't see them winning the case. They are just going to delay that. The biggest casualty, in my view, because this case, we are in June, the case will be over by September. Let's say by October. By October, they will have this time in the case. Yeah, I remember one of the commissioners is good in topography or something like that, the mapping out and whatever. And the commissioner will be very good when it comes to boundary demarcation. But the delay that will happen up to October, you see, you'll have to give these people time to settle. From October to October 2026, or even 9 months, it will be taken that it is a too short a time, to. I'm not seeing a demarcation of constituencies in this. We are going to 2027 with the 290 constituencies as they are. Any other changes will happen immediately after 2027 general election. It is unfortunate that we have a bad government in position, but the opposition is worse. The opposition is worse because when you find a person like Kalonzo Musyoka saying that all the commissioners should be, you see, we have gone all along. It is just a matter of waiting, the gazettement of those and the swearing of them. But they are trying to delay it because of sour grapes of having not been told to assist the government in selecting the commissioners. Of course, the government has its way because you'll find it is only 2 commissioners who have no connection at all. According to the standard of today, there are only 2 commissioners who have no godfathers or something like that. All others are. But then that is how it has to do. Hmm? Tutafanyaje? People say that Maybe my belt here is fake, but you can see it goes round, isn't it? It goes round. Thank you.